So, welcome to NYX Notes. This is our third note. This is Coach Julie and Allison sharing common themes from conversations with the athletes that we coach. We're passionate about sharing our thoughts and insights so you can become a better triathlete. So, today's topic is taper.
Yeah, taper's a funky thing.
It is. And being someone that is 13 days out from an Ironman, I'm in the thick of it because it is, and people, yeah, in theory, people think, oh, 3 weeks out, we start tapering. Um, Most of my athletes know that we really only do a 2 week taper. So forget that whole concept. But even when it hits, you think, okay, the last big workouts are done. But then you look at the schedule and it's like, oh, wait a minute. This is not like vacation time, right?
Totally. I do, depending on the athlete, I do a 2 week or a 3 week taper. And especially with that 3 week taper, the way I describe it is the first 10 days are just fake taper because you're actually holding on to fitness for that first half. And so it doesn't actually really get that much easier. There's still a fair amount of volume and a fair amount of intensity. I always find it to be the most obnoxious 10 days in like the entire training season. And then you do get to rest after that, but you have to
Yeah.
hold on to fitness for a little bit before you get there.
Yeah, I think it's that. And then actually when you do see, oh my gosh, okay, the volume's dropping. Um, this is great. And two things happen. One, you think, oh my God, I'm gonna feel so amazing. And generally you start to feel worse and worse and worse because
100%.
your body's freaking out, like what's going on? We're used to rolling all this volume. So you feel worse. And then that's like an ideal time where the niggles start and you start to get a cold. And I think you said like what your body realizes like this is the time we can do this.
Yeah, it's like your body knows it
Yeah.
has this little window to fall apart and it takes full advantage.
Right. And so then it's like, okay. And I think this is what I'm really big about people putting comments in training sheets all the time. I can go back I've been racing for seniors. I never taper well. And I generally feel super terrible even up till the actual day I race. And I can go back to my very, very best races and see the comments. Like I am just, you know, I feel terrible. I'm tired. I'm sluggish. I'm this, I'm that. So then after you do that a couple of times, you're like, oh, okay, I'm fine. This is what my body does when I taper.
Yes,
So you get through that. But if on the flip side, you start to feel amazing, this is not the time to plant the garden you've been meaning to plant.
totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is not the time to the weekend before the race clean out all of your closet and take it, do all of these massive, projects that might be, physically somewhat intensive because you've been so dead tired training. Use that time to try to start relaxing and try to give your body the rest that it needs.
totally. Because when the training volume finally subsides, you have all this extra energy. And so people are like, oh, I'm going to go reorganize my garage. But what you really want to do is wait and store it up and use it on race day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My other favorite one is like, oh my God, I know we've been talking about I should go to yoga. I'm going to go to yoga every day now. And it's like, okay, no, like yoga is a whole, like, it's an exercise. Don't start yoga. Don't start Pilates. Don't start the mobility routine that you haven't been doing for 6 months and do it 6 days into the race. It
Totally.
is like, at this point, like, let's keep everything status quo and go from there. And then the other thing is too is I either call it panic training or the flip side is, hey, the hay is in the barn. Like when we're 10 days out from the race, we are not gaining any fitness. And you can literally only do more damage. So if it says 3 by 3 minutes at X pace, if you do that 30 to 45 seconds faster or do another one because you felt great, it's not going to help.
I know. I know. And you're using up that energy that you're supposed to be saving for race day. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
My,
No, exactly.
and then the last piece too is that it's so common for athletes, and I will say I'm definitely in this bucket that athletes kind of spin out and go a little crazy during taper. I finally got to the point where I think I started pre-apologizing to my husband. Like, it's taper. I'm about to lose my mind. So I apologize for anything I'm going to do or say in the next 2 weeks.
I think I got taper tantrums.
Yes.
Um, Yeah, I said that to John actually on yesterday. I was like, the big work is done. This week will probably be fine, but then as we start to pack and leave is when I'm going to be a total asshole. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's what
It just
happens.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally go through it. So I know. In theory, all we think about is all I want to do is paper, and then you're like, oh, I'm not really loving this.
Yeah. And then you get there and it's not as great. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you have it.
Cool.
Those are our thoughts and comments on taper. If you have feedback, comments, or suggestions about this topic or anything else, or anything you'd like to hear in the future, we always love to hear from you. Your thoughts are not just welcome, but crucial to the growth and improvement of our podcast. So on that note, we'll see you next time.
Happy paper.